Hello, everybody. Hi. I hope that the internet is good and behaves today. It usually isn't that great in this little room that I'm in. So if it's not working so hot, I'll just kind of like quit it and maybe record and do something else. But anyway, I really wanted to come on here and talk about it's Saturday morning here in Japan, and I wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about what's happening in the stars up there and the astrology today and what it really means now. And I'm feeling, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little bit more ease. And I know it's been a really, really, really tough week for a lot of folks. I know that I hate to be crass, but it felt as though, and I've shared this with a couple of my friends before, but it felt as though the universe was passing me through its birth canal. Okay, so that's kind of how I've been feeling. I don't know if anybody else has been feeling that way. It's been hard. It's been really rough. There's been a lot of grieving for things that we wish could have been. There's a lot of seniors that are not going to get their graduation, that are not going to have their prom, and there's a lot of folks. Our daughter had to cancel, like she had to postpone her wedding, and there's just so much grief that has been just kind of lingering, and so many people have been feeling it, and it even if you haven't lost anybody that's close to you, it's normal. It's normal to sense that grief, that overall grief. And I know that I was even sensing grief at the middle point of the week, coming from everywhere in the world. So it's just we're in a really, really rough time right now. And this is all kind of going back to that surrender, healing, fighting. At the beginning of the week, there was a lot of fighting and weird stuff that was happening. I know that, going on Facebook was very, very touchy. You couldn't say anything without, um, without folks jumping on there and like, taking it the wrong way, and which is normal when things are rough. When we're all kind of going through this time of just grief, and it's rough. It's rough. So there was rage that we were working with, and sadness, and that we were kind of like trudging through. And toward the middle point of the week, there was a little bit of the spreading of this virus, and maybe even the panic, um, and there was sort of a call for you to just do what you can and just show up in any way that you can for yourself, to just, if you can just sit on your couch and breathe, just do that. There was that sort of thing going on. So right now, thank goodness, I know that in the stars, astrologically, things are kind of shifting. They're moving, and things are kind of starting to look up, which is a great thing. I mean, so we've got Venus trine Jupiter, Venus trine Pluto, which means in those two aspects are asking us to get really clear about our values. Okay, so yes, we've been grieving. Yes, we have been dealing with all of these intense emotions. Um, and yes, like I know that there were a few days this week that it was really, really difficult to do anything other uh, than just breathe and do the very bare minimum. And you got to give yourself the permission to just do that, and just to feel what's really, really happening within you. um when we're going through such a hard stage as a world. So, but so now we're moving toward the healing process, or we have been moving toward the through to the healing process. We've been kind of like saying hello to all of these emotions, the grief and the sadness and the anger and the rage and blah 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 blah. We've been dealing with all of that, kind of passing through it, kind of passing through that nasty. I feel like it's a nasty. It's just been nasty, and then and now we're on to a place going into a place of expansion and starting to understand ourselves a little bit more. And so I don't know about you, but I know, and the Venus trine Jupiter and Venus trine Pluto, this is normal for these aspects to kind of bring up, okay, well, now that we've kind of gone through all this crazy stuff, now I'm starting to really understand what I value in my life. Like, what is really, really what are the most important things to you? And so, like, I know that for me, like, my family is incredibly important. And so I need to start prioritizing my family more. After being stuck indoors, what is it that you really value right now? What is it that maybe you hadn't realized you valued, but now you're like, wow, as soon as I get to go outdoors, this is the type of stuff I'm going to do. I've been feeling more called to pop online and just kind of do these Facebook lives lately, because I'm like, I feel like I want to provide value for other people. And I feel like I've done a lot of work on myself, and it's time for me to share that with other people. And so that is valuable to me. I feel like I want to share my value with other people. And so what is it that you want to share with others? What do you feel is a universal value that should be respected and cared for? I mean, I have to say, like, there are parts of this whole thing that, I mean, it's just really cool to see even reports of how LA, the air quality is cleaning up in LA. I'm like, wow, that is really cool. Now I have a totally new appreciation for just, how, like, my own impact. I understand my own impact on my environment so much more, all because of this. That is now a new value that I have developed. So what things do you feel you are starting to gain an appreciation for? What are your values right now? So yeah, have they changed? Have you also considered who you stand for more? So really, really give yourself some time to really, really think about that. Remember that, yeah, peace is beginning with us. So this is a time when I know a lot of us are being called to step into leadership. A lot of us are hopping online and wanting to share our unique gifts with the rest of the world, which is just absolutely beautiful. Again, sharing your value with the rest of the world, understanding what your values are and sharing with those. That's so incredibly important right now. So there were 4 steps that just came in for me. And one of those things, hi Alfie, I just saw you joined, is I wrote this 4-step process down at the very beginning of the week. And the very first step was to start with presence. And that's really the only thing that a lot of us could do at the very beginning of the week. A lot of us could only really, for me, it was just breathing and showing up with my breath, just showing up for myself with my breath, noticing how the covers felt over me in my bed. So just start with presence. It's not anything You don't have to do anything else. Just be present. It's so important. The second thing that we need to do as we're stepping into our leadership is do what you can. Okay? Again, if all you can do is breathe, that's great. That is the next step on your path toward doing what you are meant to do with your life, with your whole life, is just to sense for whatever it is that needs to happen right now. Do what you can. So, the third thing, and this is where we're at right now, is what are your values? Examine what your values are. So, start with presence. Do what you can. What are your values? Examine all of your values. Figure out what they are. So finally, and I'm going to teach you this right now today, is to ground and take the offense. It's true that when you start to really understand what your values are, write them down, solidify them, really sense them in your body, it's true that you're going to run across people that don't necessarily align with your values. They don't, and that's okay. Like we're all different, and that's what makes the world really, really awesome, right? So my values may not be in alignment with, that guy's values, and that's okay. Like if we were all the same, the world would be really, really horribly boring. And so, I know that a lot of times we feel like we're at war with each other, but rather than looking at it that way, just consider, like, my values are different. My values are different than my wife's values. My values are different than my dad's values. What I feel is really, really important it's not, I realize that what I feel is really important isn't necessarily what is important to another person. And so, but yet I'm going to stand in right, I'm going to sit right here in this chair, and I'm going to tell you what is important to me. What is important to me is that I see that other people, and this is me expressing my my commitment to like, one of my values is to see other people doing what they feel called to do. And helping them to figure out what it is that they're called to do. So, and understanding what their unique gifts are. So this is me sitting in this chair telling you, like, you gotta get in alignment with your values. And I don't care what those values are, just as long as you're there and you're actually showing up for them and you're representing them, right? Okay. We could totally have values that don't even, like, whatever. Okay, I may not agree with your values. That's okay. It's not for me. Like, the values that I have, my biggest, the thing that I represent is helping people to express their values. And one of the things that I value is individuality. And so it's really important to me to actually help others to express their individuality. So yeah, I would never ever say your value is not important to me. It's important to recognize other people's values, and to for me, it's important to recognize other people's values and to help them to express them in some way. So that fourth step, okay, we have to start with presence, do what you can, what are your values, ground, and take the offense. So when we ground, that means we're actually, and I love getting this it's almost like I visualize like a sumo stance, like somebody's just kind of like, they've got their feet really firm in the ground. They're like, oh, this is what I stand for. So this is a really important, I'm about to teach a really important sort of technique that is going to help you to take the offense and to defend your values. You don't have to defend them. Offend them? I don't know. Does that make sense? I don't know. So we're going to start with I like to close my eyes. You do not have to close your eyes. Okay. Um, but what you do want to do is sense your feet on the ground, or if you're sitting crisscross on the ground, I say crisscross applesauce. So if you're sitting on the ground, just sense for your, you know, your bottom on there, sense for your feet on the ground. Take a deep breath. Yes, you can notice everything that's happening in the room around you. Notice any sounds. Notice the clothing that you're wearing touching your skin. Take a deep breath. Notice your breath filling your lungs. Notice your feet. Notice your legs. Come into your heart. And from your heart space, you're going to envision a cord. And this cord can be anything. it can be a root, it can be very organic, it can be a metal cord, it can be a ray of light, whatever works for you. Just come into your heart. You're going to allow that cord to run down through your spine. And down into the earth. If your feet are on the earth, it's going to go down through your feet and dig down deep into the earth. While you're there, while that cord is there in the earth, you're just going to notice the temperature. You're going to notice the texture, colors. That cord is going to continue to move down all the way past the water table, sensing for damp, dry, rock, loose soil, heat, cold, all of the life that's underneath the ground. Just notice it. Allow that cord to go all the way down to the center of the earth. And there, at the center of the earth, is a very, very big crystal. And that crystal has a jagged edge. So what you're going to do is you're going to wrap your cord or your vine or whatever it is. You're going to wrap it around a jagged edge of that crystal until it's good and secured. Then you're going to come back up. You're going to trace that line, that anchor, that vine, whatever it is. You're going to trace it all the way back up. It's going to stay there connected to that edge. It's tethered. You're anchored down. It's not going to move. It's going to stay there. And you're going to follow that cord all the way back up. Once again, passing through the heat and the cold and the hard rock. Coming all the way back up. Noticing the life underground. Moving back up into your feet, into your bottom, up your spine, into your heart. Just notice that tethering down to the earth. If you can, Just say to yourself, I am. I am. I believe. And even fill in that blank. I believe in. Who do you believe in? What do you believe in? I believe. I am. Now allow the heat from this. I don't know. I'm feeling heat. You may be sensing something different, but whatever that sensation is in your heart right now, allow that to expand out through your fingertips, your toes, even up through your head, out. Sense it. Sense it just expanding in your body. I believe. I am. Moving into I will. Okay. Now coming back into your heart space. Consider I will. And now I will, allow this prompt to just populate itself. Just kind of whatever comes up for you. I will what? I will. If you want to share it in the comments, feel free to share. I will what? This weekend, I will what? This can relate to the values that you have come to realize are true for you. This can have something to do with the people that you feel called to serve. This can be related to your why. I will. I know that for me, I will contact my family. I will. Coming back to consciousness, you can wiggle your toes and your fingers and blink your eyes open and kind of like shake your head. I know I've got to shake myself up, right? Okay. So, all right, let me know how that went for you. And yeah, consider, what are your values? How have they shifted? What's been going on for you? You know, remember to ground. Remember to, and if you can do a sumo stance, a sumo stance is like sumo. If you're like a big sumo guy, do a sumo stance. It's really weird because it actually makes me feel a lot more powerful. So, it's a Nia thing we do in Nia. You take 2 feet and you put them really far apart and you just stand up and you're like, oh, okay. So that's a sumo stance. So if you can do a sumo stance, that's always fun. All right, just so you can sense that grounding and that and what you really stand for. I will. All right, so I hope that this is helpful. Let me know. I look forward to reading your comments below. All right, take care. Bye-bye.